Hello, everyone. Can everybody hear me?
Yes.
Yep.
Great. So I'm so glad to have you all here with us today. This is one of our first sessions of our webinar series, Land That Job. In this session, we have created this space where we're actually going to talk about what actually works in the UAE job market, and the stuff that no one really talks about. And today's session is going to be all about resume writing and how you can turn your CV into something that gets you noticed, gets you calls, and hopefully gets you hired. And to guide you through all of this, we have our recruiting stars, Amar and Yumna, and they've seen it all, hired across industries, and know what gets your foot in the door. So, and also a quick heads up, we'll be taking questions at the end. So keep dropping them in the chat as we go. So let's get started. And over to you, Amar and Yumna.
Good morning, everybody. So, Lamia, are we starting the session now, or are we waiting for another 5 minutes?
I think let's start.
Okay. So, once again, good morning, everybody. My name is Amar Hussain Kagti. I am the Associate Director with athGADLANG. You might have heard and seen us on LinkedIn and across social media. We are a boutique firm spread across the GCC region and within the Southeast Asian region as well. I am accompanied by with my talent expert Yumna Hasnain. So a quick introduction about myself. I'm an ex-PwC. I'm a finance professional. You can say a finance guy turned into an HR guy and a headhunter. In the last 5 years, almost have assisted one-on-one more than 300 odd talent and professionals across the country to get on the right job with the right mindset and with the right organization as well. And have worked with more than 100 organizations across in terms of getting them the right talent. So in our shoes, we have a very important role. We have a role from a client perspective and we have a role from a talent perspective as well. But here today, we are all about talking about and helping all the talent who is looking for opportunities within the UAE to do the right thing when they start applying. And when you start applying, the first thing that comes across is your resume, is your profile, is your CV. So that needs to be spot on. Right now, we are in a holiday season, especially all across the globe here because the schools are off. But as soon as everybody comes back from their holidays, the schools are on, everybody is back to the job by mid or end of August. So you should be all prepped up in terms of getting your profiles ready when the job postings are online. So you start doing what is required. Now as well, whoever is in the market who are looking for the right job postings and applying, please make sure that you hang on to this one of the first series of more series to come down the line from our end and get all the main pointers out of this, which will help you highlight your profiles amongst all. I'll now hand it over to Yumna Hussain to introduce herself and take the session forward.
Hi, everybody. I hope you're doing well. Thank you for joining this webinar. My name is Yumna, as Amar mentioned, and I am a certified human resource professional, a CHRP, and I work as a senior talent and transformation specialist at athGADLANG. So talking about me and my years of experience in HR, it has been almost 6+ years in the market, covering technology, covering healthcare and FMCG, and then this as working in a Big Ten financial firm. When we talk about HR, we say, and when we talk about talent, so now talent is divided into two broad domains. Number one is of 360-degree, and number two is 180-degree. In athGADLANG, we are merely focusing on both sides. We are focusing on client side. We are talking about internals. We are hiring for recruitment. We are hiring for outsourcing. A little bit about myself. I have closed almost 120 plus roles in ATH specifically, and it involves 90%. I would say I am targeting finance people, but 10% we are dealing with all tech, non-tech, blue collar, white collar jobs. Today, what we are focusing is totally white and finance managerial roles, and how you need to land to UAE. Landing to your dream job is extremely important. I'll start with the next slide. Anjali, next slide, please. Okay, so now talking about the goal setting and execution plan. So what do you guys understand with the perspective of goal setting is there are two types of goals. Number one is the long term goal, and number two is the short term goal. When we're talking about the short term goal, do you think that in the next 5 years or in the next 2 years, let's put 1 year that you are ready to move to UAE? Are you at that point where you're ready to start everything from scratch? So the whole point is that your short-term goals must be aligned in order to understand your long-term goals. So coming on the main 3 pointers, we have divided this whole presentation into merely 11 steps. Amar will be looking into the technical aspect, because he will be guiding you on how finance professionals should create their resumes, update their resumes, and how they can land to exactly their dream jobs. But now, before landing to your dream jobs, you need to do a little bit of planning. And to be very honest, around 70% of the people, we have ideas, we have goals, but we fail to execute. So in order to understand that, number one is the research the job market. When we talk about researching the job market, we need to understand which time we are coming up, right? Are we coming up in summer months, winter months? What months we are targeting? Because in UAE, the weather, the winter breaks, the summer breaks, they all control the dynamics of the country. So researching the job market is extremely important. You need to analyze your skills, qualification, whether what are you applying for that job that requires or that is restricted with respect to the local language. If yes, then it might not work for you. So you need to understand the company dynamics, how the economic fluctuations, challenges in the UAE. Again, the UAE is a land of opportunities, as we say. The second is to understand the top portals: LinkedIn, Bait, Monster, Gulf. They're Nafis. So Nafis is merely for Emirati talent. But when we talk about the Bait and Monster, I will feel that it is again divided into two major. Number one is the blue collar, and number two is the white collar. So right now, if we say that understanding LinkedIn is important, Bait and Monster, Gulf, you are always updating your resume and pulling it up. But LinkedIn is merely about how you are going to brand yourself. As one of the directors, I remember one of the partners told me that, it's not about you carry a Gucci bag, it's about how you carry a bag that makes you feel like you are carrying Gucci. So again, you need to make sure that your LinkedIn has to be branded really well. You know how to optimize LinkedIn. Again, it's a very top. You can say it's a very broad topic. Then understanding and updating the resume and LinkedIn. So it's you need your resume to be updated. You need to make sure that your resume has the correct number, your UAE number, your address, your UAE optimized, and LinkedIn also showing the exact location. Again, LinkedIn and resume, they both are broad topics that we will be discussing further extensively in detail. Number four is how you budget your finance for 3 to 4 months, 3 to 6 months. You need to understand that budgeting your finance is important. You are starting everything from scratch, whether you're coming with 12 years, 5 years, 4 years. I would definitely say that when are you in your mid level, when you have at least 4 to 5 years of experience, then you're ready to move to a different country, whether it's UAE, US, but right now we are targeting UAE only. So that is the correct time to land to UAE, and then from there you can pick up things, because you are at the point of growth, right? You are not in your comfort zone. You're ready to experience challenges. So that is the right moment to step in. So budgeting your finances, you'll be starting everything from scratch. Luxury and need concept, the Maslow hierarchy model that says the physiological needs. they need the survivals. When we are talking about survival, you need to understand there are three major things: the water, food, and housing. So these will be your basic needs when you come. And once you settle in job, once you get your dream job, once you land to the opportunity, then why not to improve and upgrade your standard of living. Then we are talking about learn visa, work permit structures. Visa is a big thing, right? Without a visa, you are not eligible to work in UAE. Work permits, again, after the visa is done, then medical, there's the whole process, and then the work permits comes at last. But understanding that your salary has to be WPS, and in order to understand this whole visa concept, you need to understand the company, what companies you're targeting. Are they legally registered? Are they going to give your salary through WPS? What challenges you can face, what Mohre is all about. So that is again a broad topic that we will be discussing. Then watch for scams are there. There are recruitment agencies who they ask for hefty amounts, and then things once you give them, there are no jobs. Fake offer letters are there. Learn UAE work culture. When we are talking about the UAE work culture, you need to understand that flexibilities should be there. There are companies which are working from 9 to 5, which are, again, there are also companies that are operational 6 days a week. So there are people I have seen in semi-government organizations, they are working 7 days. So again, the work culture is dynamic. There are multiple nationality. It's a expat hub that we call 9 million plus people. So you need to understand that as well. Build your network online. Networking is extremely important. LinkedIn, how you need to optimize your LinkedIn comes first, right? And it's important to understand the LinkedIn part. Optimizing LinkedIn and branding LinkedIn to an extent where you know that once you land to UAE, you have people connected to who can reach you up for opportunities. I remember personally my experiences the day I land to UAE. I just put my stuff in the hotel, and then I went to meet one of the recruitment agency professional, and he helped me to land to 3 to 4 interviews. So this actually works. Start building your network since day one, and it's not about just sending the resume and saying I want a job. You can start by saying, oh, can you just review my resume for a bit, or can you just please take the time to review the resume. The next is plan housing and transport, which is also very important. Housing, planning, transportation. You need to understand that where you need to target your job. It's about Dubai. It's about Abu Dhabi. So accordingly, then you can actually plan it up. For example, if you want to settle in Dubai, so then make sure that your planning is between Dubai or somewhere in mid of Dubai, because you will be going for interviews. Maybe you have to crack 3 to 4 interviews in one day. You have to go for 3 to 4 in-person interviews. And trust me, once you are in UAE, no interviews are on Teams. Every single interview has to be physical, and people prefer those who are physically available. Then basically approach recruiters across UAE. Start connecting them before once you land. It's not about once you land, it's about 1 month prior you start connecting with those people. And recruitment agencies, there are, and find those certified or licensed, who has a manpower licensed agencies. Try to connect with those. Then try scheduling interviews before planning. This is one of the things that I personally did, and a lot of people who land to UAE, they try to drop their resumes, they try to brand, they try to connect on LinkedIn with those people who are hiring. So then from there you can take the things forward. Then next slide, Anjali. Okay. Now talking about the pre-arrival planning for UAE job market is about prepare before you land. It's about avoid coming on a 2 month visit visa without planning. Trust me, you need to plan things like that. That 1 month is merely about just give me 1 minute. Okay, so 1 minute is merely about your coming and finding job, and then the other is about the landing opportunity. So it's about in 1 month you have to get the interviews done. You need to crack interviews, and the other month is that you start analyzing the company, because again there is the onboarding process. For example, if you're going for a security clearance, there are companies who are doing security clearance, it takes almost like 14-15 days. So at the last moment you are getting a job, and then you're going for the security clearance in the last weeks of leaving the country. You are overstaying, it won't work for you. It is exactly it firstly there will be rejection, and the overstaying can be detrimental in future opportunities as well. So you need to plan things accordingly. Planning is important. Make a to-do list, make an Excel sheet, start writing what are the things, which interviews you want to crack, what industries you want to serve, this a lot more. So expect fewer interview calls if your CV isn't UAE optimized. So when we talk about UAE optimized CV, the numbers should be there, the location should be there. I personally know a certain individual who was based in Dubai, but she was not able to land to 3 months. And why? Because her LinkedIn was showing the Asian country she was from. So make sure that everything has to be optimized. Your phone number should be there. It either put +971 clearly or put 0. So the number should be correct on the resume. Pay scale gap if no UA experience. Trust me, this is being brutally honest on this, but yes, nationalities pay and determines your pay, and this in few ways. But again, your skills. For example, if you're coming from a tech world, okay, so you are IBM App Connect, you are MV6 MV5 developer. Let's talk about the tech. So over there, you might not be able to find those people, WebSphere developers or those kind of stuff. So over there, the pay scale might not be challenging, or you will be having the fair pay scale. But if it somehow about the local language experience, it's about UA experience. These things they actually impact you, your CV, your opportunities, and your interviews. UAE prefers experience with companies listed in UAE. Okay, so remember, not even UAE, I will say GCC experience is mandatory. GCC experience, if you have the GCC experience, trust me, even in 5 to 6 days, if you're targeting companies mid tier, you can land to a job. Because you need to understand that if you are coming with no UAE experience, there are people, thousands of applicants with you who have UAE experience. They are searching job. Their company are under restructuring process. There are mergers happening. So there's a lot more going. So how to outstand you? So if you are in Pakistan, try to gain or try to get UAE experience. Try to work with UAE based organizations. It will create an impact. It will give you an extra edge. Then talking about the Big Four background in finance roles, Ammar will be definitely be guiding you on the Big Four, because he is ex PwC and he knows better than me. But why we say about Big Four, why we emphasize on Big Four, it's not about the branding. It's about that Big Four people are trained enough. When we talk about they're trained, so I'm not talking about that you need to have a Big Four experience with a finance as a finance manager. You can have a Big Four experience even with your articleship experience. It works, and you need to brand it up. Okay, so how you need to brand it? So on LinkedIn, when you say, for example, it's Ammar Hussain Kagdi, so Ammar Hussain, ACCA, ex PwC. And once any recruiter will definitely reach out to him, and definitely they'll see the big bold Big Four, it will definitely work for him. So again, we don't want Ammar to leave our organization, so we won't advise him on that. Real estate experience for non-tech jobs. When we talk about real estate, Dubai is known for developments. When we talk about infrastructure, when we talk about construction, Dubai is one. Sorry, we're talking about UAE, so UAE is all about that. So real estate experience, even with your you can say home country it works for you, because you know how industries, they merely work same, right? Somehow things will be different. For example, when we talk about escrow management account, or when we talk about RERA, it might be different for you. um, but in the end, everything comes under real estate. So whether it is about developers, whether it's about facility management services, so it all goes hand in hand. Own visa holders, high flexibility, sponsored, um, people prefer, because the visa cost is almost 7,000. Again, it depends on nationality. I might not be very correct with the numbers, but yes, own visa holders, sponsored visa, parent sponsored visa, freelance visa are there. People are taking employment visa, because then companies, they hire, because the visa cost is a huge cost. You are in UAE now, get hired the UAE way. Physical presence gives you leverage, strategic action gets you hired. True. Next slide, please, Anjali. Yes. So recruiters prioritize local profiles. Remember that UAE number and has to be there. Then visa status is a decision maker. Your visit visa should be highlighting how many days are remaining. So, for example, if you're saying spouse visa, if you're talking about immediately available, it will create an impact. Companies will hire you. Again, if you're on a career gap, just try it. I have this pointer just came into my mind. If you have a career gap of 6 months, 8 months, show something that you have done in your career break. Write about freelancing experience, what you have done. Even a personal growth experience can also be a part of your resume. But if you have done something, like if you have worked even for a small assignment for 3 months, 4 months during your career break, during your maternity coverage, it will work for you. And then geo targeting in LinkedIn, that I told you that the location has to be UAE. No, nothing less than that. And then respond within 2 hours of interview calls. The merely what the calls are coming from, they are coming from the landline numbers, right? So when you try even calling back after you miss the call, it might not work for you, because those calls are then transferred to the customer support receptionist department. So you need to make sure that you're always around the phone. I'm not saying that be on the phone from uh, you can say 9 to 9 till 24 hours. I am saying that be make sure that you are from 9 to at least 5, 6, 7. These are the timings. On Sundays, if you're getting interview calls, trust me, merely 90% of them are scam. So make sure that UAE is not operational on Sundays. If there is if the company is kind of Bahrain, following Bahrain timings or somehow, but merely you will be getting calls from Monday to Saturday, 9 to 5. And then speak the local language of resumes, use UAE centric tools, terminologies, VAT filings, ESR reporting, WPS compliance. For example, I know I have hired that individual right now. She has 12 years of experience coming from tax, and but she was not able to land the job in UAE market. And why? Because she was not able to get into the UAE tax thing, though she knew a lot about UAE tax, but because it was not evident in the resume. This is one of the reasons. So make sure that if you have something, even the not the practical one, but the theoretical part, add it in your resume. It will give an edge to extra points to other outstanding you other applicants. Then network where hiring happens, join UAE based LinkedIn events, HR circles, free. These are like events, I would say. Attend those events, but start connecting with individuals. Start connecting with recruitment agencies, recruiters as well. Avoid overselling. Start demonstrating. So when we talk about overselling, do not oversell your resume. And when we sell oversell, it's not you go into the interview and you say that okay, basically when an interviewer asks you, do you know ESR reporting, you say, oh yeah, it's pretty easy for me, it's a piece of cake for me. It's You do not have to brand like this. You need to if you know something really well, you need to demonstrate it with the years of experience, how many clients you have worked, how you have worked, each and everything. That is also covered in the next in the latter part, when we talk about understanding the UAE job market. Anjali, next slide. Okay. So when we are talking about the UAE job market, we are talking about the challenges in the UAE. There are 9 million plus expats. When we talk about 9 million, these are coming from multiple, their nationalities are so diverse. And they all are applying for the same job. Everybody is talented in their own ways. Somehow, someone knows something of the other, right? They knows everything about how UAE works. It's a very constant, you can say it's a very it's not a challenging, but it's a very competitive environment. I'll be very honest. And then, you know, the quota, how it works, like after 50 plus employees, you need at least an Emirati talent. There are quota systems, so every nationality has a quota. For example, if you need to identify this in your initial stage, whether your visa will be processed once you land into the job. Do not ask it in the beginning. It will give a very negative impact. But once in the final stages of interview, you should definitely ask the recruiters or the hiring manager that, will it work for me? Will my visa will be processed? Do you have any quota issues? Remember, always, if you have that great level of connections with the people that you in the company that you are applying, then definitely do two major steps, I would say. Number one is the trade license, and number two is connecting with the people of the employees of the company that you're landing to. So basically, this will help you up. Then you know how economic fluctuations are there. Let's company restructuring, recessions, mergers, acquisitions. This is all happening, right? So you need to understand that when you are applying, there are thousands of people are applying. There are people who are immediately available. There are people who are back to UAE. They might be away, but they are back in the town. They have the UAE experience. They might know much more honestly about UAE. They know the dynamics, and there are people who are already serving the notice period. They are Those all will be competing for one same role. So what there let's be honest. Like, for example, if your salary expectation is around 15 and the other with the UAE experience is 16, the company will go with the 16 with that 16 level bracket, because they know that this guy or this candidate is a right fit. Why? It's not because that you are not the right fit. It's about that you are lacking the UAE experience. So the way that I told you in the beginning, it will work for you. Then skill mismatch and over saturation. When we talk about skill mismatch, you need to identify, you're applying for a finance manager job and you're talking about general ledger accountant. You're applying for MIS reporting, budgeting, but you have never worked for that. So make sure that not I say one thing which is very very common. Not every resume, the one resume is not for every job. So you need to make and you need to align your resume accordingly. And then high cost of living is there is the high cost, then the visa and residency restrictions and limited development in non-core roles, rapid tech disruptions and market shifts, which I have highlighted, cultural workplace diversity. They if it's a Asian based organization, they don't want more Asian people, they want more different nationality. And then high competition from global talent is there. So again, already highlighted of how the competition is there. It's about you have to be, your resume has to be pitch perfect. Next slide, Anjali. Okay, so why contractual role matters is advantages over permanent roles, and when we are talking about higher pay, premium for flexibility, global exposure, flexible work structures, specialized skill demand, short-term commitment, fast exit, career opportunity, better adaptability. When we talk about these pointers, what we understand that contractual roles, because I am hiring people on contractual roles, and still people are very happy. And why? Because contractual roles, they provide you autonomy. You can do your side hustles. You can work as a freelancer. The fast exit. When we are talking about the notice period is 15-20 days. And when you are on contractual roles, merely the notice period, even when the probation, it's 1 week. So again, it completely differs. And then merely all the companies, let's be very honest, as a recruiter, I want an immediate joiner in every position. In every job post of mine, I want an immediate joiner. So over there, I prefer somebody who is immediately available, because again, I want the handover to be done properly, right? So specialized skill demands are there, especially in finance. If you have and technology, they are high in demand. When we are talking about contractual roles, is not about the semi small companies. These contractual roles are hired by big companies, semi-government organizations. I'm not ready to name it right now, but these are really big organizations. What they do is that they provide they are basically these recruitment agencies, or the manpower outsourcing companies. They are the registered vendors, and they are hiring people on 6 months role and 12 months role. And why people are hiring? Because they are hiring through recruitment agencies, so they have the stability. For example, if you go the next day, then we have to close that position up, right? So again, it works for both of us. It's a win-win situation. So the pay scale is different. You get paid better. It is almost like 20 to 30% pay increase than the current market standards. And then coming back, why your resume is getting ignored, you need to understand three major steps. One is finance professional. Number two is hot. You need to understand the ATS filters and how it works. And then too much fluff, not enough substance. Prioritize format over strong content. 6 seconds. Okay. This all skim down 6 seconds. How I see a resume. The resume pops up on LinkedIn through a message or through my career portal. Merely I go through career portal. So whenever you guys are applying, go through the career portal first, and then you can also connect with me through LinkedIn. So when I just download the resume, I look into three major things, and we have the inbuilt ATS system. So it actually extracted the three things: that whether the person is in Dubai. Once the person is in Dubai, the contact information, the experience, what position he's applying for example. So I just go through, skim it. I do not go word by word into it, because there are like thousands of applications. I go by industry to industry. So make sure that you can highlight your key achievements, but at the same time you need to also understand that it should not be more content. It should be very specific. Statistics should be there. 70% you have done that, 30% you have done this. So again, the first 6 seconds are based that whether you are physically available in UAE, you are immediately available. And remember, the only thing I want to highlight, it's important. Make sure that if you have closed any job, for example, April 2023 to June 2024, if you write it present, it seems that you're not available immediately. You are currently working with the organization, and if you're working with any organization, you have a notice period of 30 days as per the UAE Mohre labor law and all that. Don't use resume templates. Always customize it. Never use a template. That will be discussing. Never make sure. Next slide, Anjali. Never make sure that your resume is customized based on the Canva. So that also works. And now understanding so it's automated functioning based on keywords, keyword driven rankings, reduce human view. Okay, so how ATS works? So right now we have an inbuilt ATS. So what ATS exactly do is, I am getting 15 resumes. I will start looking into, I will be getting, after the ATS is sending me resumes, almost like 1,000 resumes, I'll be getting 15 resumes. This is how it will work. And those 15 resumes, they might be pitch perfect according to the job description aligned. For example, my job description says general ledger accountant, somebody who knows about bookkeeping, somebody who has worked on accruals. if they are highlighted, ATS will extract it. So the other almost 100 plus resumes, I might not be able to even see who they were or who they were capable of, because the ATS will help me to reduce my time. And trust me, it's not about the HR are doing the resume part. With the help of ATS, then there's screening call, and after the screening, interview, physical, teams, and 3 rounds of interview. Merely for mid-tier, we are going for 3; for senior, 4; and might be for freshers, 1 to 2 rounds of interview. So it's a big hassle. So ATS has come to resolve your problem as well, and my problem as well, particularly mine. But you need to understand the challenges, and you need to respond, and you need to be responsive towards them accordingly. Then we are talking about ATS friendly resume. Next slide, Anjali. Yes. So ATS friendly resume is key. Key guidelines. There are like 8 steps. Number one is basically use simple formatting, no tables, no graphics. Even the logo of the company will not work for you. Then add keywords directly from the job post. For example, general ledger. So the general ledger word should be there. If it is saying or Oracle, Oracle should be there. Fusion, MS Dynamics, it should be there in the resume. Otherwise, your resume will not be extracted out. Then we talk about accountant, and then about the finance ninja. Do not write financial specialist. Always be very picky in terms of use generic words like accountant, senior accountant. Do not write accounting professional. Accounting professional working. Just write accounting. Even for the finance people, I would definitely not recommend you specialist. Write finance manager or something like that. Senior associate finance, or it will work. Avoid using headers and footers. ATS make skip content placed there, and then include relevant certification mentioned in job ads. When we are talking about relevant certification for somebody who has ACCA, somebody who has CFA, and his education, trust me, when again the education and experience, they go hand in hand. For example, if you're coming with as a fresher, so your education will be first, and then your experience will be next, because you will be highlighting what degree you have done and from where you have done, right? But for the experienced professional, when we are talking about the mid-tier people, their key achievement, then experience, and then education will be there. So make sure that, for example, if you are ACCA, if you are CFA, it has to be highlighted. Then stick to clean, readable fonts like Arial. So Arial and Times New Roman, I would also suggest it can also work for you. Then save your resume as PDF. Always make sure that your resume is PDF. Google Docs or PDF can work. The Word document can work, but this is it. Last but not the least is on my part, which is UA specific resume structures, which is professional summary, a small one. You can even write from ChatGPT, write about what you are, what you are capable of, what makes you outstand from other applicants. Also, a bit summary of it: 8 plus years of experience, finance professional, ACCA. These 3 words in the when the recruiter sees these 3 words, they will just shortlist you up. Because it is telling you to what capable you are in terms of your professional journey. Then key skills, as we discussed, remember it has to be tailored to the job description. Applying for finance manager, you should have the finance manager experience. But if even if you're coming from the home country, you need to understand your home country experience. You have to downgrade yourself a little bit. So for example, if you were in finance manager, you'll be start applying for senior accountant positions. Again, you have to start somewhere down the line. Then talking about education and certs, and that is ACCA, CFA, which we have discussed. Location and the visa always has to be there, and then use clean ATS readable formatting. The formatting has to be there. Make sure that your resume is pitch perfect, formatted well, there are no errors. Go through Grammarly, go through spell check, get your resume aligned accordingly, and then your resume is all set to go. Okay, so now I will be definitely inviting Amar to take this part, and thank you everybody for the support.
Hi, everybody. Hi once again, and thank you, Yumna, so much for a very insightful session all across, covering major areas in terms of what to look in a CV, what an ATS is, and what to do in your CV, how you can highlight your CV across. I'll just take it from where Yumna left, and starting from the perspective that when you are here, or even when you are applying to jobs in the UAE, so it doesn't matter that what role you were in your past experience. The important part is that in the UAE, when you enter, so for what role you can fit in. So you need to understand from the perspective that in the wider puzzle, do you fit in? So example, I'll give you a practical case study. So what happens is that even when we get profile for a role that we are working on, example, we are working for a finance manager role. Okay, so we are looking for a profile which suits in somewhere around a finance manager role itself. But what happens is that sometimes you get the CV of a senior professional, that is that he might have been a finance manager 5 years down the line in the history, or right now he's on a more senior role. But we will run through some of the points in the coming slides, and even Yumna has mentioned in her slides as well, that you need to fit in. You need to tailor make your profile, and you need to understand that sometimes you need to go ahead, sometimes you need to pull yourself backwards as well. But again, from your skill set that is you had in the recent past, or what you are working now, you need to understand that which role you want to fit in. For instance, most of the candidates, while looking for jobs, might send CVs across so many job portals, apply on so many job postings, right, left, and center. So, for instance, if a finance person or if a senior accountant, he or she might apply for a senior accountant role. He or she might apply for an analyst role, or even particular roles in the assurance audit, internal audit as well. But again, you need to understand that do you fit in the role itself. Apart from these, you need to again understand the emerging roles nowadays, that entails some roles in the tech areas, especially if we talk about within the ESG structure. So ESG is the new topic. I don't want to go in ESG more, but obviously you can research on your own that it's one of the emerging in terms of the laws and regulations, in terms of the new roles that are popping in, especially in the listed entities or semi-government or government entities itself. But again, you need to have a roadmap that where will you start in the country from a particular role, and where you want to go in the coming years, the coming months down the line. Okay, so let's move on to the next slide. Okay, so let's just skim through and analyze in terms of the experiences and in terms of the visibility that your CV or profile should have in the eyes of a recruiter. So when I see a CV, okay, so we recruiters or headhunters are we have a particular eye for a CV or for a profile we are looking for, and when we don't see that, so obviously the CV has a risk of just we can move on with the other profile if we don't see what we are looking for in the particular CV itself. First come first, you might have already seen this term while preparing a CV, that it's advisable that you use a reverse chrono order. What is a reverse chrono order? So what happens is that you start mentioning your recent most experience rather than putting your oldest experience. Put your recent experience, and so that the recruiter or the headhunter or the hiring manager knows that what you are doing currently or what you have done in the recent past. Obviously, if you have you are working in a particular role, if you're working in a particular organization, please mention the title, please mention the organization name. Sometimes even the location, the jurisdiction is also important, along with the tenure that you have been working with that organization, because it helps the recruiter or the headhunter in many ways in terms of how many years or months you've been with the organization, what areas you have worked on within the given tenure, how have you come across from where you began and where you are currently in terms of your appraisal, in terms of your overall growth in the organizations. The most important that is very important to me as a headhunter is that nowadays you know the competition, and like Yumna also mentioned that UAE is a very, very competitive market. People are coming in, they are fitting in, they are gelling in, lots of competition. Unlike other country in the world, UAE has now the emerging talent as we speak. So people from all jurisdictions, people from all ethnicities, people from everywhere are coming here. They are showcasing their profile, they are showcasing their talent, and the best talent ends up with the best role. Okay, so rather than using a generic profile created by some AI bot, okay, we will just basically again quickly skim through this process in the next slide as well. But it is recommended that you use GPT, you use AI, you use some tools that can give you a structure. But personalizing your profiles yourself, giving it a human touch is very, very important, because the GPT or the AI can never know what experience you got, actually what you did in your organizations. Okay, so you need to remember things, you need to jot it down. Even I would suggest that when you are currently working as well, try to jot down your achievements, try to jot down your experiences, try to quantify what you have done, so that when you create your CV down the line, you update your profile down the line, you have set matrices or you have set quantifiable achievements that you have done. Okay, anybody can basically write that supervised a department, supervised a finance department, supervised the closing process, a monthly closing process within the NX organization. But what you exactly achieved out of that closing process, how you added value, you need to understand that, and you need to jot it down in your CV. Okay. Now let's quickly run through the certifications and education, which is very important as well, because some roles require some certified professionals to take on that particular role. From a finance perspective, obviously, in our audience who belong from the finance fraternity, they might be knowing all these certifications across. Apart from these, any added course, any added certification in terms of tech, in terms of any systems, in terms of any ERP that you have done, it's better to mention on the CV. And please, folks, let's not put something that you have not done. The biggest mistake that people do, and this is a practical example I'm sharing across, I think so Yumna can also get the same, that don't put something in your profile that you have not done. Because sometimes, even if your CV is through, you are sitting at an interview with the panel, with one-on-one with the hiring manager, sometimes that question pops up where you have just put something, but you cannot corroborate it. You have no experience within it. Example, I'll give you a live example. For instance, VAT or a corporate tax. Okay, so people coming from abroad to the UAE, obviously the CV says that they have no prior experience. Okay, if you are already learned about the topic, you can definitely mention it. You have done course, anything outside the UAE, that is perfectly fine. But if you don't have any idea about the value-added tax, if you don't have any idea about corporate tax, don't mention it. Sometimes over information just basically puts you out of the process. Okay. And obviously, like we mentioned, that UAE is a global hub. It's an emerging hub overall for all talents. People coming from different jurisdictions speak different languages. Language is a very important matrix when the head hunting is done. Sometimes it helps within the teams, cross border communication. You can say it's very important to have a diversification in the team as well. So language skills, put in your CV, and put it what is right. Okay, if you know Arabic, then put the right fluency. If you don't know Arabic, don't even put it. Okay, nobody will basically ask you the question that why you don't know Arabic. Okay, let's move on to the next slide, please. Okay, So this slide is particularly about finance and accounting roles. Just to highlight some of the matters, we discussed quantifying your profile, quantifying your CVs. Okay, so in from a finance perspective, there are some examples here. We'll just pull out one example. The third one, which mentions terms like DSO, IFRS, financial modeling. Okay, so for instance, we'll take a DSO. So what happens is that, and DSO stands for days sales outstanding. So what happens is that if a prospect of if a talent is looking for a role within the accounts receivable, within the credit control, within the AR itself, okay. So terms like DSO would highlight or would basically give an extra spotlight to the hiring manager that at least within the this area of accounts receivable, the candidate has some idea on this on this topic, and probably you can further quantify it, that how much exposure that you have handled within the AR, how many clients that you have been handling, if there is any ancillary areas within the accounts receivable, within the credit control that you have handled, mention it. Okay, it's always good to mention the right things that you have done, so that it helps the hiring manager filter you out from the lot. Okay, and there are other examples, including if you can quantify something like saved 80K or 100K in tax liabilities, keep it in your CV. If you can quantify that you have dealt with some authorities, if you have dealt with some external parties that you can name in your profile, you can mention it, so that it again gives you an extra edge. That's it. And there are some examples in the bottom, again highlighting the same thing that I mentioned, that try to quantify what you basically have done. Okay, let's move on to the next slide, please. Okay, so obviously the resume is the first document that, because the recruiter or the hiring manager might not have met you before. Okay, so your resume remains your first impression, and it gives, it should give a first impression, a very solid impression to the hiring manager, that if, for instance, if I see a CV, I should just stick to it, and I should give my first comment that, okay, I'll review it once again, or I'll shortlist this right away. Okay, because I can see the things that I require within the job description, I require within the talent, and within the scope that I'm working on. Okay, so, and nowadays value addition is very important. Value, if you don't add value within your role, if you don't add value within your prospective organization, or if you are even not adding value within your current organization, you will be easily phased out. Okay, we are again in a very challenging age. We are in a very competitive age. So we should be competitive at every point. Disruption is like probably previously ages used to disrupt in years, in decades. Now it's a couple of months, not years itself. Okay, so obviously you need to help the recruiters, you need to help the headhunters as well, so that they get the right profile. Okay, and they don't end up basically not running through the whole application process and getting frustrated that probably what they are looking for and what they are getting. Let's move on to the next slide, please. Okay, so we'll just quickly skim through. Again, these are very common areas which are part of the overall CV, which are part of the resume. So your full name is very important, unless the recruitment agency or probably the hiring organization might advise you otherwise, but it's already always advised to put your full name, ideally based on your passport, based on your legal ID, your country ID or your local ID, so that the background checks, the overall review of your profile can be done in a better way. Okay, so Yumna again is mentioned. It is a pivoting point that you have a UAE based calling number, so that people can reach you. Headhunters like us obviously are on a back foot if we don't have a UAE local number. Okay, because sometimes it's not a mandatory thing, but sometimes it happens is practically that if you have a number which is not a UAE number, okay, so probably we might have problems in reaching you. Okay, so it's advisable that you have a UAE number. Ideally, sometimes the person or the candidate is in the UAE, or even they are not in the UAE, but even their UAE number is on. And you need to clearly state always where you are. Are you in the UAE? Are you outside the UAE? What's your visa status? Some people are on their visit visas. Some people are on their residence visas. But obviously, their previous residence visas are cancelled. The visas are going to expire. So this information is very important, especially obviously for the long-term roles or permanent roles. But for contractual roles, it's very pivotal and it's very vital, because we as recruiters, we as headhunters are here to help you. Okay, so you need to help us help you. So these are some of the information that is required. Marital status, not mandatory, not compulsory. Some people write. Ideally, wherever required, we sometimes ask if it's not written, but it's not mandatory, or it's purely optional. Nobody will ask you your marital status unless there is a specific requirement whatsoever. Okay, a LinkedIn profile. I would suggest you never miss your LinkedIn profile, and your LinkedIn profile should match what is in your LinkedIn and what is in your CV. It should not be a case that within your CV you are a person A, and when we click your LinkedIn profile, you come across as a person B. Okay, so there shouldn't be two persons within the same profile. Okay, profession summary. Try to keep it very much tailored within the role. Don't just put generic content within the profession summary. Try to be very specific towards yourself. Okay, market yourself, because the profession summary is a marketing summary. If we as recruiters read those, it should be very eye-catching. Okay, and there should be some information that immediately catches our eye, and we get along with the CV more. Okay, put your skills. We have already discussed within the previous slides that whatever skills in terms of ERPs and in terms of any specific technical skills you have, including finance professionals, definitely should be aware of IFRSs, should be aware of, if it's audit and assurance role, they should know the auditing standards as well, ethical standards, and etc. So put it in the CV and try to, when you are in the interview, you explain it in a very concise manner that how you added value in the role. Okay, let's hop on to the next. Okay, again, this is a continuation of what we discussed, just some examples within a specific role. Again, these examples are within the financial and accounting roles itself, just to have an idea that if, for instance, if you are within an internal audit role, okay, so there within the internal audit scope, there are various frameworks. So if you have worked within a COSO framework, if you have worked within a Basel framework, if you have worked within a local internal audit framework, mention it so that the hiring manager has the right idea that do you have that understanding if the job description requires you to have a strong grip on the internal audit frameworks. Okay, and when it comes to ERP, if you have worked within the SAP environment, if you have worked within the Microsoft Dynamics environment, if you have even worked within an accounting package environment like QuickBooks, Tally, etc., mention it. Okay, it's good. That something quantitative and tangible is mentioned in your CV. Okay, and you can run through the other examples within the other areas as well. So let's just move on to the next. Okay. Again, this probably slide is you can say a summary or the gist of what you should be doing while you are doing your application. Your application process is very important, is very personal, and you should take it very seriously. Okay, sometimes it happens that when you are applying for a particular role, as a human, there might be frustrations in terms of you are awaiting a response from a recruiter, you are awaiting a response from an organization, but you are not getting answers. But again, you stick to what is required and what you should never do while the application process or within your CV. Okay, like I said that it's better and it's advisable. It's recommended that you please put your UAE number on your profile. It gives you an extra edge. Sometimes some jobs might require even like example, if it's a sales job, so it might require you having a driving license as well, because you have to move around, you have to meet people, you have to go here and there. So even some people mention that they have a valid driving license UAE as well. So it's good. But again, it's some for some roles, from some desk job role or some executive roles, obviously mentioning that you have a UAE driving license doesn't give you an extra edge. Okay, so again, whatever the job posting is, whatever the prospective job is, within the job posting, you should again just try to keep it specific within your resume while even you're applying, so that it can just basically corroborate to your specific profile, and it gives it just a feeler to that to the recruiter that obviously you might be looking for this job itself. Otherwise, what happens is that if you're looking for a finance manager, okay, then we might not be having a CV for a person who's a junior accountant. Okay, and again, if you are a junior accountant, then you cannot apply for a finance manager role as well. So you need to be very realistic from that perspective. Okay, don't just mirror whatever is mentioned in the job title and just put it in a CV. Just be very discreet. Again, I've already mentioned this point. Consistency between the LinkedIn and between your CV is very important, period. There should be no inconsistency in terms of your experience, in terms of your anything that might give an extra question mark that why you might not have mentioned this in your LinkedIn or otherwise in your profile. Okay, the faster you apply to a job posting while it's live, the faster there's a chance or there's a probability you land having your CV in the, because sometimes what happens is that you within the finance fraternity, the terminology FIFO is very important, but that is first in, first out. But I would say if you are first in, then you are first in. Okay, not first out, but first in. So you need to get in and you need to apply. You need to put the right information. You need to put all the right data that is required in the job posting along with your CV, so that you get the right feedback and immediately. Okay, be patient, be very calm, and take the right steps. Now, the don'ts. So you should not make only one profile. For instance, if you have worked within the different areas, like if you have worked within the compliance or within the accounting role together. Okay, sometimes it might happen that your accounting and compliance experience might gel in within your profile, and it might not highlight or be a spotlight within a particular role. So if there is a compliance role specifically, okay, so you should prepare a particular CV for that compliance role, in which you need to enhance your compliance job that you have done in your past experience, so that it again can do justice to the role that requires this experience, rather than applying for a compliance role but having your accounting experience that as well. So it gives you a lower edge. Okay. Again, now simple is the best. Don't if it's not a marketing role, or if it's not a specific role that requires a very fancy CV. Okay, and other way around, don't use templates from the 90s or the 80s. Okay, we are again in a very forward-looking age. So your profile also should be very sleek, very simple. Should highlight the right points and no redundancies, please. Okay. Again, try to just make sure that you don't have any spelling errors. I get so frustrated that I see formatting errors, I see spelling errors, unnecessary inclusion of experience that even is not required. And frankly speaking, when we just give an initial call, screening call, we get to know that even the person or the candidate is unaware of anything. Okay. So just for the overall understanding that what we discussed right across, let's just basically open the CV. It's just fine. Let's open the sample CV. and just run through it quickly. This is not a format that is basically recommended, but it's just a simple format in an order that generally recruiters are looking for. Okay, so you need not basically put anything specific regarding this. So this is just a format that is just for an understanding purpose, and you can just look it from as a new job seeker. Okay, so obviously personal information we discussed, education, and it should be in an order that your education, the recent education, is highlighted. Again, your CV should be in the reverse chrono manner. It should not be in a manner that your oldest experience is highlighted. Okay, like you see, again, it's a very simple CV highlighting the major points, the career path down the line, and some of the information mentioned in the CV might not be required in terms of the salary, in terms of the current salary or desired salary, but the recruiter might ask you some questions in terms of another form which you need to fill in terms of the role that you are looking for. Okay, so again, we'll just quickly skim through. There are different experiences mentioned in bullet points. Ideally, again, try based on your experience. If you are a junior, looking for a junior role, your CV should not exceed between 1 to 2 pages. A 1 page of CV for a junior role is enough. For a senior role, maximum, it can go to 3 pages. Even that is not advisable. Ideally, it should be only 2 pages, and only the relevant experiences should be mentioned there. Okay, so let's hop on to our next steps, please. Next. Okay, so again, just quickly, I'll summarize what we discussed overall. So from an overall perspective, when you are either in the UAE or you are outside the UAE, you need to understand the specifics and dynamics, how the job market works here. Okay, it is advisable to be very cautious in your search. Obviously, there always comes to this point that there might be so many recruiters, and in between there might be some recruiters in terms of who might lure you in terms of scams, asking you for money for landing up to a job here in the UAE. A genuine recruiter or a contractor or an agency will never basically ask you for any compensation or any money for getting an interview or processing your CV. Okay, so first thing first, you need to be very vigilant. You need to prep up your CV based on the local market. Obviously, there are some questions we saw in the chat earlier, specifically asking a couple of questions from a practical perspective. We'll answer to those questions in a short while. Again, Yumna also mentioned that we work as a talent outsourcing organization as well. It is very you can say helping or assisting or working hand in hand for somebody to get an opportunity in the country is very important, and it's very close to every HR or a headhunter to help somebody get to the right job, get to the right placement. And even it's very good for us as well, that our clients get the right talent across from a wide pool or a wide sea of talent that is here. Okay, so again, we have just basically given the QR code. We have our career portal, AG Careers. It's good. We keep on updating several roles spread across so many areas, not just accounting and finance, but different areas like Yumna earlier mentioned, within different scopes, within IT, within the project management, and etc. So you can go on our career as well, apply, put your CV across. We'll get into our database. We'll get back to you. You are more than welcome to basically connect with us. You can connect with us on LinkedIn. And apart from our career portal, you might have heard these names already. LinkedIn is on the top. Apart from that, there are different portals, including Baith, Naukri Gulf, Gulf Talent, which also help you in terms of getting good opportunities across. Okay, so try to be specific. Try to stick on to what you are looking from your perspective of landing onto that particular role. Just don't apply everywhere. You see a job, you start applying, and you start applying or right, left, and center to all the roles. Okay, so no, frankly speaking, I'm telling you practically, you would apply for 1,000 jobs, but you will end up only getting 10 interviews, because those 10 interviews are the only relevant roles that within which your profile fits in. Okay, so please be very specific, and we'll guide you across. This is, like I said, that this is just the first series of more to come in terms of having more interactive sessions within our webinar. We'll get with us more industry experts all across, so that you have a better idea. Even you are working here, even you are looking for a new job, you are in the country or you are not in the country, will help you across again. And once again, thank you so much for getting in this session. And now I think so we'll get on to the questions, right? Yes, super.
Yes. I think thank
Yes,
you so
Ramya,
much,
please.
Amar and Yumna. That was very insightful session. And guys, if you want to connect with Amar and Yumna, we have their LinkedIn QR codes here. If we move to the first or the second slide, you will play this slide for a few seconds. If you want to connect with them, you can scan the QR codes and connect with them. And right after that, Abna is going to take your questions and moderate with Amar and Yumna on it. Thank you.
Thank you, Lamia. I'll just add that it's good to be connected on LinkedIn. You can follow us on our athGADLANG page, on our AG Careers page, on our portal. Like I said, that we tend to put several roles. Even those are updated on a daily basis. So put your profiles across, speak with us, connect with us. And one of the things that I think so, I'll again reiterate and highlight that apart from just basically applying online on the portals, that's a good thing again. But try to meet people as well. Try to connect. Try to understand the requirements. Try to make sure that you have the right visibility on your profile. Okay, so if you are in the country, meet people, attend sessions like these, connect with us. We might probably have the right opportunity at the right time for you, and you might land up. We never know. Okay, so let's take the questions.
Hi guys. Thank you, Amar and Yamna, for the insightful tips and real talk. I'm sure everyone took something valuable from here. So we already have some questions in the chat box. Please, guys, use the chat box to drop some more messages, and I'll just read it out loud, and Amar and Yamna will take it from there. So let's just get started. All right. So we have a question from Ahmad Khan. Are white collar work visa open for Pakistanis?
Okay, thank you, Ahmad. Ahmad, visas right now, obviously, there is no embargo on any visas, and in terms of the government-related updates, there might be some hiccups, and obviously those hiccups also entail because of some specifics. Okay, but the visas in terms of overall visibility are there. But like I said, that when you start applying, so because it's a dynamic environment here. Okay, so every day things change. Every day there is a new update from the authorities. Every day there is a new day. frankly speaking. So at any given point in time, this static question might not be the right thing. Probably at any given point of time, you would ask, there might be some updates from the authorities that you need to check with the recruiters or with the public relations relation officers across. Okay, so that you are updated at that given point in time.
Thank you, Omar. So we have another question from Tayyib Salim. He has asked, is it worth to work in Pakistan in a UAE-based company or firm before moving to UAE?
See, it's good. Obviously, it will give you an edge over other professionals who don't have any UAE experience in itself. But again, you being here in the UAE is a different experience. If you are in any other country outside the UAE, okay, so that would be a different experience in itself. Okay, you are remotely working for a UAE organization. You might be within that ambit. You might be interacting with people here in the UAE. It can give you an edge, but obviously being in the UAE and having here the experience, because it's a global thing that if you go into any other country, it is always advisable for otherwise your skill set or your particular technical skills should highlight on your profile. That gives you an extra edge to the and an eye popper for the recruiter, that even if you are not in the UAE, even you don't have any UA experience, but you are relevant for that role. Okay, so your skill set should speak rather than either you have had a past UA experience or not. That sometimes you will not be the question in line. Okay, so try to first enhance your skill set. Try to make sure that you only land up to that job. Okay, experience is an added cherry on the top.
Thank you, Omar. So we have another question from Matthew Hong. He has shared his background. He's South Korean and educated and worked in Canada and New Zealand. Has a work experience of 6 years in accounting. Does not have an experience with Big Four, but has worked with global companies. He has three questions, so I'll just go one by one. The question one is, would it be more advantageous to find a job once moving to Dubai?
Okay, so quickly, yes, it is better. It is more advantageous, to be precise, compared to others. And I think so. I touch base into my last answer as well. That it gives you an extra edge if you are basically here in the UAE, here in Dubai. If you get on to a face-to-face interview, it's a different interaction, okay, apart from the e-meet. So people tend to know you better, and basically it's good, and even you have a better idea of the market as well, because you can't understand the dynamics sitting outside or abroad. So it's, yes, to answer your question, it is advantageous. It is more probable to move here in the UAE, to come here first, look across and understand the dynamics, and then basically start applying, or even if you're applying, that you'll get an extra edge.
Thank you. He has another question. I see that accounting job is dominated by East Asian ethnicity. Is there any way I can differentiate myself and secure a role?
Okay, in interesting one, but it's not specific to yes. There are a lot of professionals within the East Asian and Southeast Asian countries. Okay, but if you see that there are so many Far Eastern countries, Western countries, and in Europeans, Americans, and even all across the globe within the finance fraternity itself, and within the accounting. You might find more people, yes, but like I said, how you will differentiate yourself, that is again the skill set, that you should have a specific skill set. That, for instance, if we are talking about a compliance role, okay, so you should be having the right compliance background. You should be having the right compliance skills when you are applying for that particular role. Okay, so it doesn't matter that basically where you are from, you will not end up where you want to. Okay, so you can be the right fit within that accounting and finance role. It doesn't matter regarding where your background is, what your certification is. Yes, if you have a global certification, like example, for instance, if an accounting role is there, if you have an ACC certification, example, if you have an ICW or and a certification from any global body, global chapter, so you can land it there. Okay.
All right, thank you, Amar. We have another question from Sayed Umair. I'm a bit confused as we will tailor-made our resume for each job. It will be different from what our LinkedIn is. How to manage that?
Good question. Okay, so what happens is that you need not completely tailor-made or topsy-turvy or profile 180 degrees. Okay, when people say tailor-made your profile as per the role, it means that, for instance, like I previously mentioned in our discussion, is that sometimes you might have done a lot within your particular role. Okay, so it's why it's advisable that when you are applying for a particular role, you highlight that value addition, you highlight that sub role or sub part that you did within the organization. Okay, so when you make your profile, you try enhancing that particular role and you try to subdue what is extra in terms of, again, I'll reiterate the example that if you have been within the finance and accounting, okay, but you have been looking after some portion of the compliance as well, and if you are looking for a compliance role, so then you should avoid mentioning things that you did within the accounting and finance and try to put more things what you did in terms of the compliances. Okay, so this is where we say that it's so your LinkedIn and your profile will not be differ. Would not differ because on LinkedIn your relevant experiences will be the same. Your profile is the same. It's just that you have enhanced it. Not you have put something that is completely different in the LinkedIn and then that is completely different in the profiles. I hope this answers the question.
Hope, Amar, I just would like to add one more point when I'm talking about
Yeah, sure,
failure.
please.
It's not about I'm asking you to change the company or to change the job titles. I'm talking about the job description. For example, if it is written that you have worked on general ledger, and if you have worked on general ledger somehow, if you have worked on IFRS 15, and it is written in the job post that IFRS 15 experience is mandatory or is preferred, that skill set, so you need to add it up. You just need to amend the resume based on the job description, because what will happen that the ATS will use those keywords to extract your resume. So I hope I'm pretty clear. Do not need to add the company or the titles. Change the job descriptions or change the key achievements according to that.
Thank you,
Yes,
Yamuna.
correct. Absolutely correct.
All right. So we have another question from Ejaz Ahmed. I have 4 years and 10 months of experience as lab chemist in oil and gas sector. I'm currently working in Pakistan. Should I move to UAE for job hunting by quitting job from Pakistan? Please advise.
See, Yumna, I think so. You can also second me. But it is not advisable to, frankly speaking, get off your current job and look for other opportunities. Okay, as recruiters, as basically discreet advisors to all our talent across, we obviously sometimes advise that, and we even hunt good profiles from people from within the market itself, that people are currently working and obviously they are good in what they do, so we have a good opportunity, so we headhunt. Okay, but it's good that if you have an opportunity, if you are not able to come here in the country because of your current job, because what would happen is that, God forbid, if you leave your current job, okay, and you come to the country and you start applying, and it will be excellent that if you land up to the job that you're looking for. But if, God forbid, if you don't, and months pass, because I've seen myself being here in the country, in the region, for more than a decade. I've seen all the ups and downs. So my practical advice to you, it's better you don't do that. Okay, either sometimes even people, like I said, that come across here to have a feel of the market, just on their annual leaves, on their vacations. Just they understand the market. They see that even they are able to fit in or not. Frankly speaking, it is on a lighter note. It would be it is very common that sometimes even people are not being able to gel in the environment as well, for different other for whatever reasons they have. But it's not advisable, frankly speaking, to just burn your bridges in your current state and look for opportunities unless you have a solid lead, you have a solid offer, you have at least something in your hand so that you can just basically put your past behind and look forward to the new offer. Yumna, anything I would have missed?
Okay.
Please feel free to add.
Okay, so basically, what you can analyze it before coming to UAE, I advise it. This is just a simple trick. So you're planning to come to UAE. You want to test yourself whether you are getting interviews. It's not about the offers. What you do is that if you have a relative, try to put their number in your resume, and then see if you are getting calls. If you are getting calls, and if you are getting, because you have 10 years of experience, right? So already you have passed that bracket. You are now coming on a senior level positions. The senior level positions are less as comparative to mid level, and might be you're coming from oil and gas sector. It's very diverse over here. You might I'm 100% sure you might be able to get the job, because oil and gas sector is itself is a big domain, is a big industry. But you need to identify if you are getting opportunities, if you are getting interview calls, if something is in your hand, then definitely come. But again, as Amar said, do not burn your bridges, because you have to again start everything from scratch. And if you are ready to do that after 10 years of experience, then why not? I would definitely say go for it.
Thank you, guys. We have another question from Matthew. He has asked, is putting profile photo in resume more appropriate in the UAE style resume?
Okay, so I would like to answer this question. Okay, so how ATS works, sometimes there are inbuilt ATS. For example, I know about one of the ATS, I would not like to name. They do not identify photos. So it's way better that, because on your LinkedIn, just add your LinkedIn ID, make sure that your LinkedIn has a proper professional photo, and keep your resume pretty straight. Because in on finance level roles, there are on those roles, I don't think so your photo will matter. But other than, for example, if you're applying for admin related roles, or when we are talking about the other roles that require presentability, um, that level of roles, then it is recommended to put the photo. But at the same time, I would say just brand your LinkedIn the best. Put a good profile, professional photo on your LinkedIn. That will work best, because the HR will definitely be reaching you out through LinkedIn, or going through your LinkedIn in the first go.
All right. Thank you, Yamna. We have another question from Sayed Umair. How to cope up with a gap in your professional career for any reason? Secondly, being a finance professional, how to get a grip on VAR and other relevant laws from your home country prior to visit? I think it's WAT. He wanted to write.
Yes. So,
Yeah.
hi, Omer. So see, there's no funda in terms of filling that professional gap. The only thing is that you keep on grinding. Okay, you keep on working within the scope that you want to. There might be a case that obviously you might have a gap within the professional career whatsoever. Any individual can have that, and obviously there will always be a practical reasoning to it. So if recruiters and if headhunters understand that, So that is particularly fine. But again, within that period, you should not be completely out of the market. For instance, that sometimes people have a very wide gap within their professional careers. Sometimes even people take educational break where they are pursuing some certification, where they are pursuing. But in terms of the skill set, you should continue gaining your skill set so that when you have that right job opportunity, nonetheless, if you don't have that experience, or you have a gap in the experience, you have that skill set. The hiring manager or the recruiter get the right answers, get the right approach, get the right feeler from you when it comes to the skill set and when it comes to the job getting done. Obviously, in terms of getting a specific grip on the areas, including any areas from a tax perspective, it comes to indirect tax, it comes to direct tax, VAT, corporate tax. Obviously, there are certifications, there are courses that you can do online. Nowadays, learning has no end, frankly speaking. There are numerous courses, there are infinite opportunities for online learning. You can read, try to read as much as you can. Try to connect with professionals within the same area so that they can guide you, they can advise you, they can tell you what exactly you might be looking in that particular area. Obviously, you need not know everything because you have not taken that experience on ground, or you have not like generally first we study, okay, we get the theoretical understanding, then we parallel to it, or after that we get the practical experience. So we understand what we studied when you're doing the graduation or the certification. So keep yourself updated, keep reading, keep understanding, so that even if you are not in the country, you are aware what we're talking about. So if people sometimes we ask about VAT, so a mere question of what VAT stands for, sometimes somebody might not even give that answer as well, because that individual just might have copy pasted it, because VAT, CT, TP, which is transfer pricing, is coming in everybody's CV. So they just copy paste it and they put in the CV. So these are common mistakes that people do, and that gives again a very bad feeling when it goes to the recruiters or to the hiring managers.
Thank you,
Yes, please.
Omar. Yeah. So we have another question from Akbar. Do companies in UAE hire individuals from Pakistan if they have 2 to 3 years of experience in UAE environment, having knowledge in the laws and regulations and other information, working remotely from Pakistan, or the physical presence is required?
See, yes, companies do hire outside UAE. Again, it depends on the skill set. It depends on the role. So if you have a 2 or 3 years of experience or somewhere around it, so it depends that this level of experience is required in which role. Okay, so if we are talking about middle management or a higher management role, definitely yeah, this experience is nowhere near to it. But obviously, we might attend an associate level or attend a senior associate level. Based on the job description, based on the skill set, if you fit in within that, and we can get you on board from Pakistan to here, yes, we do. And yes, overall, recruiters do hire outside UAE. It's not a matter of fact that people only hire talent who are present here. So it's like I said, that it's in an open field. It's just about that, how you encash that opportunity, how your CV ends up to the right person for the right role. That's the bottom line.
Thanks, Amar. We have a question from Yusuf. Do you support the hiring process for compliance professionals in the banking industry?
Yes, we do. We apart from we don't particularly work within a specific industry. We work across all facets of industries, starting from governmental, non-governmental, SME, large organizations. So So banking also, just to answer the question, yes, but it depends upon the particular role that we have and how your profile fits in within what we are looking as well. So yes, we do within the banking as well.
All right. I think this has been answered before, but I'll just read it out if you guys have to add anything to it. Is it advisable to leave the current job in India and come on a visit visa and search the job since I have to pay some good amount if I decide the current company?
It is not recommended, frankly speaking. I'll not get into the details like you mentioned, Amna. So again, we dived into it in a much more detail, but it's not advisable. Frankly, it's always advisable to have a strong support in terms of having an opportunity in hand and or at least in something tangible that you have so that you can at least move on rather than again, not rather than burning bridges is not recommended at all, please.
Mhm. Thank you. We have a question from Savati. Do employers in the UAE prefer candidates with visit visas?
Obviously, I would like to answer this question. So basically, when you are coming on a visit visa, it shows that you're immediately available. And we as recruiters, like personally speaking, I would definitely prefer somebody on a visit visa or somebody who's immediately available because I need to fill the position in the next 1 week. So definitely somebody with a notice period, currently working on the organization. We know how Mohre works. We know how the strong rules and regulations in UAE. So I would definitely prefer somebody on a visit visa, and merely I would say 90% of the recruiters will also do that. So being immediately available is a big plus plus. So yeah.
Thank you, Yumna. Okay, so we have a question. Is it possible to land a job in UAE as ACCA part qualified or ACCA affiliate from Pakistan with no prior experience at all in Pakistan because many of industries prefer UAE nationals at fresher roles?
Okay, so I also would like to add something and then Amar can take it over. So when you're coming as a part qualified, it's better that you complete your papers because if you try to juggle between your work and with your papers, right? It will be a hassle for you. You might not be able to concentrate on both, and unfortunately, there are a lot of risks. So you need to understand that it's way better that you complete all your exams, you are properly mentally prepared, and then you enter into the UAE journey, and then you can find something starting on associate level. Because if you are ACCA qualified, but part qualified over here, finalists can work a little bit, but I'll say that almost 70% of the job market they requires qualified people or finalists with having one exam, two exam remaining, or they are just at the point of their last stages of certification. So it works for part qualified, it doesn't work that way. So better to get your papers complete, you're also free, you're relaxed to search the job market, and then here it goes.
All right, thank you, Yumna. We have another question from Noor. My articleship will be completed in September 2025. Currently, I'm working with UAE firm as a secondment trainee. Will that be helpful in getting a job in UAE? Also, is it necessary to be in UAE?
Um, Simply, obviously, you are seconded here in the UAE. You are in the market like we discussed regarding the dynamics. So you have now had the flavor of how the people, how the environment is works. So yes, again, it depends upon the role that you are looking for, or the particular role has the right requirement in terms of your experience, in terms of the certification, in terms of the tenure that you have worked. So some opportunities might explicitly state that you should have a UAE experience because of some local dynamics that are important. And obviously, a person who has no idea how things work, how the regulations work, how people work here, because obviously here it's like a global hub, right? So you have to adapt yourself in that particular way. So wherever is a specific requirement, yes, then there might be an edge if you are here, and yes, you can. So there is no particular answer to if would you get an opportunity if you have done worked here as a secondee, or if you have worked as a permanent employee here with an organization for n number of months or n number of years. It's again very situational. It's very you can sometimes you can say very job specific. Okay. So you need to have yourself in that particular time spot, in that particular area to land on that opportunity that fits your profile.
Thank you, Amar. Okay, so we have another question. I am part qualified ACCA along with Masters in Finance from Pakistan, having more than 12 years of experience, 2 years in UAE. Is it advisable to visit UAE?
Okay, I would like to answer this question. If you have UAE years of experience, so I think you were working remotely, or you might be might be working before, or then you went back to Pakistan. You need to clarify this. But understanding 12 years of experience, having an MBA degree, you're then which is again you need to go for attestation. But having an MBA with ACCA part qualification with 12 years of experience will work for you, and you will not land into finance manager roles. The starting roles can be from senior accountant. It can be finance executives. So those kind of roles you can be landing. Again, it's not the only thing that matters. Your interviews, your communication skills, and what softwares you have worked. This all matters. What industries you have served. So hand in hand in everything, I would say it can work for you, because you do have an MBA and you are part qualified with 12 years. So it is advisable to visit to UAE.
All right, thank you, Yamna. So we have a question from Kawal. How does the UAE job market differ from other GCC or international markets?
Okay, so UAE, bottom line, is an emerging market all across. So all the states within the UAE are disrupting so many industries in itself. Okay, and all the GCC countries are in a formidable position in terms of basically having those opportunities. But obviously, compared to others, UAE has become a global hub very quickly. So each and every GCC country is tirelessly doing the right thing and absorbing the right talent. But it seems that UAE is in the forefront while it comes to the race of getting the right talent. In terms of having the other advantages as well, the overall infrastructure, the people, and the overall advantages bypass compared to the other countries. Okay, so but to answer your questions, again, all GCC countries in their own entirety are basically racing towards that excellence that they are seeking across. And UAE also is basically in the forefront in the race.
Thank you, Omar. We have another question from Saim. How can we find out the average salary for the role we applied for, especially since many recruiters ask about our expected salary? Also, how should we handle the question about our current salary? I am currently working at PKF as an article trainee in audit and assurance. I've already appeared in 5 to 6 interviews where recruiters remarked that my current salary is too low and claimed that they are offering significantly more. However, they often don't understand the difference between a stipend and a salary. How should we clarify this and respond appropriately?
I think so, Yumna. Yumna would be in a better position to answer this interesting question. I'll compliment after her, please.
Okay, so basically, firstly, your question is divided into two parts. Number one is your salary expectations with respect to the market standards. When we talk about market, I will be again. It all depends. If you're working for if you're applying for a mid-tier organization, the salary will be different. You're applying for a government organization over here, the salaries and perks, but there are other benefits that are also involved in salary. So again, the gross salary is not the only thing in Dubai. They are giving accommodation, they are giving travel allowance, there are multiple perks, right? Talking about your years of experience, I would say after articleship, definitely the best way that you can say right now I'm available immediately and whatever, and you can give them a range instead of quoting a specific number. Like firstly you can ask a recruiter like what is the budget that is aligned for the role, is which tier it is going for, is it a junior level position or it is a mid level position. For junior level merely it start from again it I'm being very subjective on this, but from 5 to from 5 to 6 is the maximum on a junior level the professionals are getting if they are ACCA qualified. And then when we are talking about senior role, it can go from 8 to 16. When we talk about 5 to 10 years of experience. So you need to understand what kind of bracket you're following. Again, it all depends on the job description. And do a little bit of market research. What company you're applying from? There's one of the biggest platforms, I would say, Glassdoor. Apply over there, see what salary ranges are there in the company, and prepare your answer according to that. Always make sure that in the screening process be very transparent regarding your salary. When it comes about for example, if I ask somebody, just be very transparent with the salary. This is the salary that I was previously getting, and this is I am open to budget something above than that, right? But if you are currently working, if you have just initially starting, so definitely a stipend will work best. And stipends all merely after articleship, I would say 3,000 above they are paying for stipend or the general salary we are talking about in UAE.
Yumna,
So these
Yumna,
are
sorry to interrupt you. I'll just add to what exactly you just mentioned.
yeah.
To answer this question again, you already answered, but there is no. It's just a range, okay, and that range changes between industries, between organizations. Any recruiter, I guess, obviously should understand that if you are working as a trainee in a consulting firm or in an audit firm, and you are getting a stipend, obviously. So when you come on a permanent role, so the salary bracket will always change. And even stipends itself, or if you are working as an internee in an organization, even in a firm, that might also change in terms of the organization, in terms of the industry. So no two different. So even when you get the salary ranges from names like Yumna mentioned, and there are researches coming across every year or every fall in which they give you just not a holistic range between the roles. They give you a range between, like I said, that industries. They give you a range between functions. They give range between jurisdictions. Even the salary bracket might change within the UAE itself. So it might change from one state to another state as well. So if a salary bracket, it would be X in state A, it might change to Y in state B. Okay, so it changes within the states as well, based on the different factors in terms of the standard of living, the necessary requirement for that job as well, how much time is it required. So there are so many factors. So we cannot limit our answers to a very specific one. But again, it's particularly it's a case to case basis, and that's where we come in and where we sit across with our prospective candidates when we explain them the JDs, we understand their profiles as well. And likewise, when we get the necessary roles from our clients as well. So we need to make sure, we need to blend in, we need to have a win-win situation, so that the right talent, again, bottom line, lands up to the right organization and with the right team. Okay, so I think so. We'll just end our session, and thank you all. And I'll give the floor to Amna to close our session and with parting remarks. Once again, thank you so much, everybody, for joining the session. Like I said before, this is just one of the first series for so many series to come. More interactive series with more insightful info and new faces across while we get on to the next. So stay tuned. We just follow us on LinkedIn. Stay connected with us, and we'll guide you to your right opportunity. Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you, guys. Thank you, Amar. Thank you, Yamuna, and everybody for joining in. We've tried to cover most of the questions, but the rest of you can reach out to our team on their LinkedIn, in their DMs, and we're doing more series. So looking forward to having all of you again, and in the upcoming webinars. I think we'll close the floor for now. Thank you, everybody, and stay tuned for the next ones.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.